We've got our grid sorted out. We've attempted to present the most useful information to the user so they can quickly scan through. They may still want to explore each item a bit more in detail to make a decision to follow through. For that, we'll present a full-screen view for a selected item using another view controller. Let's get to the implementation.
Here we're going to implement our detailed view. So let's populate the UI elements. In this example, we are going to position them directly on the main view of the view controller. We are going to use an image view for the artwork of our media item, the labels for title, artist, and the new item collection. We're also going to include a button for the user to go to iTunes to see more information. And finally, for the swag view, we are going to use an image view to display the artwork and a label to display the title. And we're positioning these two elements within another view that will serve as a container. Next, let's create outlets for all of these elements that we just added. This view will need to display details of a specific media element that user selected on the grid. In order for us to identify that element, we need to pass some information about that media item to this view controller. To do that, we are going to create a variable that will hold media ID. We'll use the media ID to get the actual media object, along with the swag related to it. For that, we'll create two more variables. We absolutely must have a media ID, therefore it's non-optional. The swag and media values may or may not be present, so we'll have them optional. Next, we're going to create some helper methods. First one is to open the URL. It will serve us in two circumstances. One, when the user clicks the button and wants to see more on iTunes, and another one, when the user taps on swag elements. The functionality of this method is very straightforward. We are accepting the source URL as an optional parameter, checking if that value is present, and trying to create a URL using that string. If everything is okay, we are requesting from the application object to open that URL. We can see something very familiar in this line of code. We're using shared property of UI application class. Just like our data model, UI application implements singleton code design pattern. In case of a condition failure, whether the source URL is not present or we weren't able to compose a URL object, we are displaying a no data alert to the user, indicating that we weren't able to open the requested URL. And to do that, we've created another helper function that will handle displaying their alert. Now let's use this method. First, we'll create an action method for store button. And for the swag items, we are going to use a tap gesture. For that, we still need to create an action method. Both of these new action methods are simply going to call our OpenURL helper function. Now let's connect those new methods to the storyboard. First, let's connect the button. So we choose a touch up inside event and connect it to our action. Now for the swag panel, that's going to be a little more sophisticated. We need to add gesture recognizer. So we're going to take a tap gesture from object library and drag it onto the container of our swag elements. And now we need to connect this gesture to the action we've created for it. That will be in sent action section, and we're assigning a selector to it. We are now done with all the preparations for the detailed view, but we cannot see it in action because our detailed view is not connected to the list view controller. And this is what we're going to implement next.